Welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel, whichever's more appropriate. Today, we're working on the Mercury. Yeah, it was a failure last time. Let's get to work. Now, last time the Mercury was out, it was very muddy out in the woods, and it didn't do so well. Mostly because it's a car. But you know, we can always do a little better for very cheap. And I picked up some of these. Yeah, these things. It's gonna get ugly. Let's get to it. In case you're unfamiliar with these, you can use them two different ways for coil spring suspension. You can use them like this, and then expand them up and down and spread the spring up, or you can turn these around and lower the springs. Either way, it's a hot pile of trash. But if you have a hot pile of trash, you should put the other hot pile of trash on top of the hot pile of trash. That's where it goes. First, what we'll do is get all the tires aired up. That way we can get a baseline measurement for our ground clearance down here and see where we end up at. It should be fine as long as we keep our expectations low. Alright, we're all aired up, ready to go. We got the cardboard creeper. Let's see our baseline ground clearance. Okay, so this is the cross member underneath the engine here. This is what hits first on everything in the front end. So we'll use this as our baseline. Alright, I'm gonna call it 8.5. Looks like 8.5 to me. That's our baseline. Also, we might lose 100 pounds of mud and gain a 1/4 inch right there. You get your lift wherever you can, right? Here's another problem with the Mercury. Power steering pump got bashed by something. I don't know how. But it ended up bending the pulley a little bit. It's pushed the belt to the edge and it's rubbing it all over the place. But it hasn't broken yet. Okay. So, back here in the rear, we're going to measure off the frame. Right where this frame slants into the pinch well. Just so it's the same measurement. But we are at... Ooh, doing a lot better back here. That's about... We're going to call that 9.5. So 8.5 in the front, 9.5 in the rear, at the frame in the rear. Alright, we're going to whiz these tires off, get a closer look at these springs. Okay, another problem I noticed on this thing is that the front wheels were having a hard time turning in the mud freely. And now that I got the tire off, I can't even turn it by hand. So let's try to fix that. It could be a hose, could just be mud clogged up in anything. Let's do the easiest thing. Just hit it with a hammer a few times. Let's see if that works. What do you know? That works like a charm. Something's broken, guys. Just hit it with a hammer. It'll be fine. Don't overthink it. Just hit it with a hammer. Now I just realized something. I think our sway bar might be limiting the down travel of our control arm there. Let's get that out of the way and see if we don't gain some more travel. Looks like no. We did it anyways, though. Alright, let's climb aboard the struggle bus and see what we can get done here. Maybe nothing. Okay, I think I got it now. Let's see. I guess that's in there. I don't know. It's a little sketchy. I guess that's what we expected, though. But it seems tight. I can't get it off there with a hammer, so that's, you know, that's good. So I was gonna do another one right over here. So we'll see if that goes any better. Well, there's one side. Let's do the other. Other side. Done. Let's get some tires on this thing. See if we gained anything. Okay, we're gonna let her down hard. See if they don't pop out of there. All right. Let's see how we did. Ooh, 10. So we were at 8.5, so it's 1.5 inches. That's not bad. Now hopefully one of these things don't pop out of here and end up in one of my tires, but you know, it could happen. And yeah, it's obviously a lot stiffer, but hey, that's pretty good. Let's do the rear. Alright, so we got the tire off. Brakes don't exist back here, so they're not locked up. That's always nice. I think while we're in here, we're going to go ahead and snip this sway bar. Take this whole sway bar off. Here's our springs. Hopefully they're easier to work than the front. The front was kind of rough. That was kind of tough. But not a whole lot of stuff in the way. This should go a lot better. Famous last words. Goes. Well, these look like they're going to be a lot easier to put in, but we'll see if they stay in place. Might be another story. Now, the front ones were a lot more tighter coiled, so we had to skip a spring in between, but this time we can go right in between two coils, loops. I don't know what to call these things. What are they? We can call them not leaf springs. That's what we'll call them. They're not leaf springs. Okay, there's 2 on that side. 1 more to do. Okay, so here's how they come in the package. I bought 8 of these. 2 for each spring. Let's take a look. They're $28, by the way, for 8 of them. Not bad price. So, this is where I start. There's 2 in a pack. Isolate 1 set. Remove the nuts from the bolt. And then, for lifting, you're going to want the curved piece that's going to be grabbing the spring to be facing up. The bolts go through that way. If you were lowering one, it'd be the opposite. That way you could clamp, but we're spreading. Now next, run these nuts pretty much all the way in. Then you want to take your other set of nuts and run them up about halfway. Okay, now the nuts run on there halfway. The jam nuts up here on this piece. Same thing, make sure pointing down towards the spring, like that. And then these 2 parts will be what rest on the spring itself. And then loosening these is what's going to expand this and tighten that spring up. All right, last side in, let's get some results. All right. Here we go, let it down hard. Bounce. Okay, let's see the results on the rear. We were at 9.5 back here. We are just, looks like 10.5. So we gained an inch in the rear, inch and a half in the front. That's pretty good, right? Alright, so obviously it limited the suspension a little bit, but still got a little bit of suspension there. That should be plenty for the woods. Oh yeah, old Blue's in here too. I'm going to be doing a lot of things to this. I'm going to make a video on it. It might be a few weeks before it's out, and it might be a really long video. I want to do a lot of stuff to this thing, but you'll see it in the background for sure. Back in the air, sorta. A lot of stuff under there we need to get out. Let's get to that. Alright, underneath the Mercury here, where to begin? That looks like a pretty good spot to begin. Now, I've been horsing around in the woods doing this stuff since the 90s. I've ran into a lot of problems. One problem I've ran into is hacking the exhaust off, having it hang down, and you get stuck and have to get pulled out backwards, and you just push mud right through that exhaust pipe and you cause all kinds of problems. So that's why I haven't actually taken this off yet, but it's hanging down. You can see it's beaten up against here, so we're losing a lot of ground clearance there, sitting lower than the drive shaft. I got it held on the back by wire, so it's about time for that to go, and it's gonna sound cool, right guys? Here we go. All right. Bend on that guy. What is that? Now, a lot of you guys are just like me, so you know what's coming next. Here we go. This thing still has, I think, 4 catalytic converters on it. What do you call a group of cats? I don't know, pride? A bunch? A herd? I don't know. It's still got all of them. Hopefully they're not clogged. But at least that muffler won't be hanging down in the way. Okay, let's either take it off or break it. Yeah, there we go. How do you even? I don't know. Oh well, get this side out. Hey, that side broke. Success. There we go. Done. Sway bar gone. For the time being, I'm going to leave the front sway bar in. It's working as kind of a bumper. It's the only thing in between, you know, a tree and my engine. So, right now it has a purpose. By the way, I've seen it where derby guys will droop the suspension all the way and then weld like a piece of metal over the frame and dampen the whole suspension so you have no suspension, but it sets up real high. That's another cheap way to do this, but I wanted to maintain a little bit of suspension. Just crossed my mind. Okay, still on the ground on the other side of the car. We got the parking brake cable here. We can cut that off. There's not even any brake parts in there to stop, so that can go. This is a fuel line. It needs to get tucked up a little better too. How I haven't lost that, I don't know. Been lucky. Let's do something about that. Okay, it looks like I can just bend this metal line and get it most of the way up there. That's not bad. Let's see if we can't tuck that thing in there a little better. That's it. Ho ho! Now, thankfully, we got a brake line here and no brakes, so just tie right to it. Ain't gonna hurt anything. No brakes. Look at that. Look at that. Alright, she's back on the ground. I'm done getting mud in my eye underneath this thing, so did notice a few other things. Looks like she bumped out of her eloquent radiator mount, so no problem, we can fix that pretty easy. Fix that, just like the day it roll off assembly line. Looking good, good shape. This strap's still a little loose. There we go, now it's tight. Progress report on this. The only problems I've had is mounts. Is where I've half-assed mounted this thing. Other than that, it's been great. Never gets hot. Transmission takes a minute when it's cold to gear up. But once it warms up a little bit, it doesn't seem to be affected by it. But this has actually worked out great. I like it. Okay, so if you remember in the last video when we were climbing the hill and the Mercury, there was an edit there, cut, and this thing kind of cut out on me. It was weird. I had it full throttle, and she just went right back down to an idle. What I found out on the hill was I had just a loose terminal. Tightened the terminal up, got it scuffied up, and we sent her the rest of the way up the hill. So we could probably do a little better with this situation. Okay, better. She's in there. She's not really going anywhere. It's fine. It's not going anywhere. It's better. Now, these terminals are dirty. Let's work on those. Alright, so the reality is this is always going to be a problem for all of my vehicles. I leave the terminals loose in case I need to pull the battery terminal off in an emergency, or at the end of my day working on these things or playing in them, I just pull the battery cable right off. That way they don't drain overnight, possibly cause a fire. So this is always going to be a problem, but we can do a little better. You can see that negative terminal is starting to fade away. Very little material left there. It's starting to just corrode right away. But good enough. Here we go. And they are pretty dirty. Okay, this one was able to tighten down with the wrench. It's pretty tight. I can still rip it off there if I need to. This one didn't. It's maxed out all the way. It's all the way shut. One thing we can do is put a nail or a screw in there to tighten up that fitting. But right now, I think it's going to be fine until it's actually a problem. We're going to leave that. We're going to call that fixed, right? Door still shuts pretty good. And opens. Look at that. Wrinkled and all. Other problems with the Mercury. Visibility. Can't hardly see anything out of this. I don't know that I got a solution for that right this moment, but in the future I'm going to have to figure out something. Maybe kick the windshield out. That would really suck though, to just get the inside all messy. Not to mention someone's yanking on it, it's throwing mud all over the place. It gets messy without windshields. I keep them for as long as I can. Another area we could do better in is this air intake. It's better than it was. It's not just sucking straight water in forward. It at least has to splash off the windshield to get in the air intake. But maybe in the future, bring it up to the roof here and suck air from inside like that. I don't know, something like that. Might lose my wipers if I do that, so that would double down on the visibility problem. But I think we did a lot of great improvements on this vehicle today without spending a dime. We got a pile of, you don't need that. Bunch of stuff you don't need. It's not there anymore. We lost some weight, losing OBs. We gained a little height. That's good. It's always good. Tidied up a few things here and there, and we are done. Guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. All that jazz. We got more projects coming up that aren't going to cost a dime. That's the new theme of the channel. A fella can't afford balls. He's not going to spend any money on his junk, you know? But stay tuned, guys. Lots more to come. Thanks for watching.